Happening now, two police departments in Hampton Roads are investigating overnight shootings. The first one in Norfolk. Police are looking into a homicide. A woman was shot along West 28th Street just after 11 last night. Happened between Colonial and Llewellyn Avenues. 13 News Now anchor Ashley Smith is here in the studio with details on both of these shootings. Ashley?
Yeah, Dan, Norfolk police officers have not said if they know who the suspect is behind the shooting. The woman who was shot was taken to Centera Norfolk General. She was pronounced dead there. Now, officers, I should say that they don't know how old the woman is. They also have not told us her name at this point or what led up to that shooting. But in the video on your screens, you can see police evidence markers around an SUV with open doors. Now, the second shooting was in Newport News, and police there tell us a 50-year-old Hampton man was shot outside the roadside cafe just before 2 o'clock this morning. That's at 44th Street and Jefferson Avenue. Now, we're told the victim was shot in the midsection. Medics rushed him to the hospital with life-threatening injuries, and police are still investigating. But if you have any information about either of these shootings, make sure you call the crime line. That number is 1-888-LOCK-YOU-UP. And remember, you can remain anonymous. Ashley Smith, 13 News Now.